September saw the arrival of a new prime leader who promised a new era for Britain. After one financial crisis, she has succeeded. Liz Truss, the new Prime Minister of Britain, has only been in power for a little over a month, yet already her government is in serious trouble as the country teeters on the verge of recession. After taking over from Boris Johnson at the beginning of September, Truss was thrown into the deep end when Queen Elizabeth II passed away. However, the 10-day national mourning period ended suddenly. With a bold new economic program that included tax cuts and spending worth tens of billions of pounds financed by borrowing, the precise amount of which is still unknown, Truss stated her intention to make her imprint soon. The move, which seemed to go against public spending caps as well, shattered the fiscal prudence emphasizing norms set by the three conservative prime ministers who came before her in their 12 years in office. For traders, Truss's growth ambition was too extreme. The British pound plummeted to its lowest point in relation to the US dollar. The Bank of England had to make an awkward intervention to prevent a pension fund raid, and international observers, such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, swiftly chastised the move. Promises of a new era have undoubtedly materialized, though not in the manner that many had anticipated. Just 1 week prior, when Kwasi Kwarteng, the Chancellor, took the stage in the House of Commons to deliver what was referred to as a mini-budget, the damage was already done. Along with a massive energy support package for companies worried they wouldn't be able to pay skyrocketing bills this winter, a number of contentious policies were also unveiled, such as eliminating the top tax rate and lifting the bar on bankers' bonuses. It was the largest tax relief package in 50 years overall. The watchdog, which is legally obligated to examine such plans and offer updated predictions to reassure investors and economists, was prevented from doing so because it was not technically a comprehensive budget. Additionally, Kwarteng has shown his contempt for Treasury orthodoxy, a move that would further unsettle the markets. According to UK economist Jonathan Portes at a Changing Europe think tank, not having an OBR, Office for Budget Responsibility, forecast was a very deliberate decision to say, "We are not interested in these people who have this irritating insistence on having spreadsheets and numbers and things like that." The pound was being hammered on foreign exchange markets last Friday, concluding the day down 5 against the dollar at $1.08, close to historic lows, while the Chancellor was bringing his aides to the pub to celebrate last Friday's news. Gilts or government bonds had also experienced a sell-off. Additionally, as the Bank of England intervened to counteract the plan's inflationary effect, markets were forecasting a rapid increase in interest rates. The Finance Minister of the United Kingdom, Kwasi Kwarteng, said that despite the market's wild response, there was more to come on taxes. Image courtesy of Toby Melville/Reuters. However, Kwarteng's tenacity in the face of market volatility was so strong that he hinted at more to come in terms of tax cuts during an interview on the BBC's Sunday Morning Politics TV program. When the London bond markets opened on Monday morning, the sterling sell-off had developed into a rout by Sunday evening, when it had restarted in earnest in the Asian markets. The interest rate at which the government borrows money, known as 10-year bonds, saw a sharp increase in yields on Tuesday, reaching 5%, the highest level since the 2008 financial crisis. The situation was so bad that on Monday afternoon, the Independent Bank of England and the government agency headed by Kwarteng both released simultaneous statements. Much sooner than anticipated, Kwarteng committed to publishing the whole details of his fiscal plans on November 23. The bank also declared that it will not hesitate to change interest rates by as much as needed. However, the bank was determined to keep the handbrake on to prevent inflation from spiraling out of control and warned of significant hikes in interest rates, while the government worked to unhinge the economy. In the meantime, it was becoming increasingly obvious that the financial markets were trembling even outside of the city. Nearly 300 mortgage agreements had been removed from the market by Tuesday as lenders revised their projections for interest rates. Estate agents were saying that buyers and lenders were pulling out, causing property purchase chains to collapse. Neil Hudson, a housing analyst at Built Place, described the situation as scary, adding that he had already anticipated a market slowdown as loan rates rose to combat double-digit inflation. Considering how dire household finances are, he stated, "I think the events of the last few days really increased the probability in a worst-case scenario of significant housing market downturn." He predicted that in the upcoming months, there would likely be a significant drop in the number of sales since prospective purchasers would no longer be able to afford the house they had their heart set on. Sellers who could not wait would have to lower their pricing. A perfect storm is also developing since many two-year mortgage agreements were signed in March 2020 at the lowest interest rate during the UK's first COVID shutdown. Many of them might get hit by noticeably higher interest rates when those agreements expire. The International Monetary Fund, a global organization that supports sustainable economic growth, joined the chorus of criticism. It sternly advised the UK government to re-evaluate the tax measures and forewarned that the actions would exacerbate inequality. During a 6-week leadership race in the summer, extreme right-wing economists and commentators enthusiastically backed Truss. With every new voice denouncing her ideas, they responded with ever greater rage. The former Labour Prime Minister Gordon Brown, who has been out of the public eye for more than 10 years, and respectable periodicals like The Economist were among the international hectoring classes that Tory peer Lord Frost disparaged. The rapid rise in yields, which had already increased significantly in recent months, was creating havoc on pension funds as the crisis progressed. The bank came to the rescue amid concerns that panic sale of bonds would start a self-fulfilling doom loop, and after warnings from some funds that they were practically in danger of going bankrupt. It announced that it will intervene to purchase gilts, pledging to do so for a maximum of 2 weeks at a cost of up to £65 billion. This represents a remarkable about-face from an organization that, until last week, had intended to be reducing its bond holdings. Meanwhile, Courting and Truss had vanished from view because the House of Commons is not in session. Government officials were free to hide in their offices as the main opposition Labour Party held its annual party conference without interference from activists or members. After a catastrophic series of interviews with local radio stations on Thursday morning, the Prime Minister eventually broke free from her self-imposed isolation. This is a regular occurrence in the lead-up to the Conservative Party conference, which begins on Sunday. When questioned about the state of the market, she attempted to concentrate on the energy bailout's generosity, but when asked about the housing market, she frequently paused before responding. During the opposition Labour Party's annual convention in Liverpool, Deputy Leader Angela Rayner made fun of Liz Truss. Image courtesy of Christopher Thommen and The Guardian. Following her speech, Angela Rayner, the Deputy Leader of Labour, made fun of Truss, stating that she had finally broken her long, painful silence with a series of short, painful silences. Courting faced increasing pressure to find spending cuts to support his promises, as the Resolution Foundation think tank calculated that changes in gilt yields alone added £18 billion to the government's interest expense annually. When asked if he would raise payments for the most impoverished members of society in springtime to keep up with inflation, he responded that it was premature for me to come to a decision on that. But it already seems like the public has decided what it thinks of Truss and Courting's intentions. As the week came to an end, a number of depressing surveys were released, all of which showed Labour significantly widening its advantage. YouGov's 33-point gap suggested that the Tories would lose this election. By January 2025, the following general election has to take place. On Friday morning, Truss and Courting welcomed senior OBR officials inside Note 10 for a cozy conversation, seemingly forgetting her professed disdain for abacus economics, the term she used to characterize her opponent's strategy during the party leadership race. By the end of the week, the city had regained some sense of calm and the pound had gained some value. However, a lot of Truss co-workers worry that her new era will see her own party humiliatingly overthrown. Subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos like this. Thanks for watching.